Hey everybody, I'm Jason McGrath. I'm an attorney with McGrath and Spielberger, and this is another segment of Carolina Contracts. And we're going to talk about arbitration again. I have a series of arbitration blogs, specifically dealing with arbitrations that stem out of a contract and a contract dispute. We're going to talk today about how many arbitrators are you going to have. You can have one, you can have three, you can have five. Technically, you could have two or four, but that's generally going to be a bad idea. Even numbers don't tend to resolve things. But you want to consider, is your contract, and specifically the arbitration provision that you probably want to have in your contract, going to address how many arbitrators there are going to be? Is it going to be a single arbitrator, which is most common in my experience, or is it going to be a panel of arbitrators? And again, it could be 3 or 5 or 7, of course, the more you have, the more expensive it's going to be. Now, a lot of folks say, well, I don't really want the decision lying in the hands of one person, but that's what you're going to have in the formal legal system. So we're pretty used to that. And quite frankly, having one person make the decision, yes, it's probably less predictable in some ways, but it's a lot less cumbersome also compared to having perhaps, say, 3 arbitrators. But it's really up to you. I mean, there's no right or wrong way in particular. It often just comes down to a matter of finances. Do you want to have to, first of all, agree on 3 arbitrators? And I'm going to talk about how to pick an arbitrator in the next video blog that I do here. But otherwise, you just decide, do I want 1 or do I want 3? Or, what do the parties collectively want? And your arbitration provision doesn't have to address this issue. It's smart if you address it in some way. And you can also leave the door open. You can say it'll be 1 or 3, and it could even be that if the parties can agree on 3, then it will be 3. If they can't agree on who the 3 will be, then it will just be 1. Because it's a little bit easier to decide on one item typically. Although there can be horse trading, of course, when you have maybe additional opportunities to pick certain things, including arbitrators. But anyhow, just be mindful of that and consider whether you want that in your contract as far as your arbitration and all the logistics that go with it. All right, thanks.